Sir, you're jealous. You're jealous that A$AP Rocky is living the life with Rihanna that you couldn't live. Your fairy tale, your dream life. You don't have to take my word for it. Listen to Drake.
Don't have the fairy tale like, oh, Drake started a family with Rihanna. Like, this is like so perfect.
You said you had way better chicks than her. Bruh, is this you?
One of my baddest women ever, I call her Rihanna.
Alexa, play Obsessed by Mariah Carey because Drake is back at it again talking about Rihanna. At this point, RiRi needs to put a restraining order on Drake because being this obsessed with someone is not normal. So Drake just dropped a bunch of old footage of Rihanna from years ago, and this comes after he's been consistently dragging her and A$AP Rocky in songs. But it seems like Rocky has finally had enough of Drake coming for his wife, and he just fired back at him on a new diss track for being a complete creep who still hung up on RiRi. But that's not all. Word on the street is that Rihanna and Kendrick Lamar are working on another collab where they plan to go nuclear on Drake and expose his weird obsession with her and other women who rejected him. See, it's been over 6 years since Rihanna last mentioned Drake in public. Whatever little situationship she had with Drake, she shut the door on that ages ago. In fact, she never even claimed Drake in the first place. That woman has fully moved on, and all she talks about these days are her kids and A$AP. I honestly think that she forgot Drake even exists.
Well, did you ever imagine when you pictured your family that like this is what it would be like? Did you had to have some idea?
No, you don't have an idea. You just hope. I hope that I can have kids one day, and I hope I can have them in love, and I hope that I can be a part of a family that, you know, breaks generational curses and just like moves forward and does new things and raises our kids better than we've been raised, and all the beautiful things, and it's happening, and I can't believe it.
And what's the thing that surprised you most about seeing your best friend become a father?
Ooh, I loved him differently as a dad. This is major, like, it's a turn on. It's just like, wow. What a leader, what a great, patient, loving, and my kids are obsessed with him.
Meanwhile, Drake can't seem to keep a girlfriend to save his life, and at almost 40 years old, he still hasn't had a long-term relationship. So the fact that this man who's never had a loving relationship and had to hide the fact that he fathered a son with an adult star is now shading Rihanna and Rocky is actually insane. And you can't even chalk this up to trolling anymore because no one is laughing. It's just creepy and weird. And honestly, it's low-key giving incel vibes. So what exactly did A$AP Rocky say about Drake in this new song? And what is actually wrong with Drake that he's still obsessed with a woman who hasn't paid him any mind in years? Let's break this down.
Because there's something genuine there. We're not like forcing some story on people. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of the music that we make and the energy that we bring is genuine. I mean, we have a lot of genuine energy between us, so. Yeah.
Okay, y'all, I'm not a psychiatrist, but you can't tell me Drake's obsession with Rihanna is normal. It's been ages since Rihanna cut all ties with Drake and moved on with her life, now living her best life with A$AP Rocky and their 2 kids. But it seems like Drake just can't shake off that old rejection. For some time now, Drake's been throwing shade left, right, and center at both Rihanna and Rocky, most recently on his Kendrick diss track, Family Matters, where he brags about how he slept with Rihanna first and mocks Rocky for being a family man. But here's what's really creepy. Drake might be dragging RiRi's name through the mud now, but his obsession with her is well documented, and he spent over a decade publicly thirsting over her.
Maybe not every girl in the world, maybe every girl in Toronto. Shout out to Rihanna, I love you, baby.
The crazy part is that Drake only started dissing Rihanna and calling her average after she went public with Rocky. It's like that guy who becomes obsessed with a girl, and when she turns him down, he calls her ugly. And the worst part, Drake still can't let go. And I know some folks claim Rihanna is the only girl Drake loves, but I don't think Drake ever loved her. He just wanted to conquer her, and he obviously doesn't do well when someone turns him down. Think about it. He ended up dissing all women who rejected him and moved on with someone else, from RiRi to Nicki, Megan Thee Stallion, Halle Berry, Serena Williams, the list goes on. Oh, and by the way, isn't it interesting how Drake always disses black women? He got rejected by Scarlett Johansson too, but I don't remember him ever dissing her in a song. But that's a topic for another video. Now let me give you some context on this Rihanna situation. Drake and Rihanna first crossed paths back in 2005 when RiRi was in Toronto filming the Pon de Replay music video. Drake always claimed he fell head over heels with RiRi from day one. But let's be real, Rihanna wasn't feeling it, and shortly after, she started dating Chris Brown. Now we We all know Rihanna and Chris Brown were doomed from the start, but here's the kicker. While they were an item, Drake was constantly taking jabs at Chris. But after Rihanna and Chris split up following that 2009 incident, Drake suddenly started acting all buddy-buddy with Chris and even collaborated on 2 songs with him. Anyway, the romance rumors between Rihanna and Drake first started swirling in May 2009 when they were spotted on what looked like a date at Lucky Strike Bowling Alley in NYC. But Rihanna shut down those romance rumors fast, and she made it clear that she was just having a little fun with Drake. No strings attached. But that didn't stop Drake from catching feelings. And while Rihanna downplayed their little bowling date, Drake went full-on obsessed mode and wrote a whole song about it. In Fireworks, he even sings, "Who could have predicted Lucky Strike would have you stuck with me?" Excuse me, Drake? Rihanna was definitely not stuck with you after one date. But Drake just couldn't stop talking about her in interviews. Like, he was totally hung up on her.
I think that we have a connection that's established for life, and that is that I love her and support her unconditionally, and I like to think that she feels the same way. And whenever
Still fancy her though?
do I fancy her? Of course. I mean, who wouldn't? Look at her, she's stunning. Of course I do. Yeah, no, she's incredible. But it's one of those things that it's a maybe one day, maybe not.
I'm 23 years old, and I feel like I'm on top of the world right now. And it's very rare that I feel small around anybody, especially, a woman that I like. It's just, I am in a confident position right now. And really, my whole purpose for putting that on the album was just to pay homage to the fact that she is an amazing woman that made me feel nervous, man. She made me feel small. She's an overwhelming being. Like, she's beautiful and talented, and her personality is it's almost scary. And for the first time, a woman just brought back that feeling of when I was 17 or 18, and I appreciate it so much because you get into this position and sometimes you just get numb to all those emotions that used to inspire you to write.
So Rihanna took Heartbreak Drake.
Paying homage to her as a woman. It really wasn't meant to be disrespectful.
I mean, she gives me inspiration, but it more comes in the form of, like when we dance, she just presses up against me a little extra hard, That's really my motivation to really do well. We're just having fun. We just enjoy each other's energy, and we decided to make that the basis of the performance, and it's very, it's very elaborate, and I think people enjoy it a lot. It's got a lot of energy to it, for sure. So a little bit of fire, some things going on that stage, for sure.
Now, once Rihanna saw that Drake was getting a little too obsessed, she started distancing herself from him. And that's when Drake got all in his feelings and started throwing shade, accusing her of leading him on and giving him false hope. In 2010, Drake told the New York Times that he felt like Rihanna used him as a pawn and said, "She was doing exactly what I've done to so many women throughout my life, which is show them quality time, then disappear." I was like, wow, this feels terrible. But then a few years later, Drake again started gushing over RiRi in public, and he told Rolling Stone that Rihanna is still his ultimate fantasy. Now, Rihanna and Drake did reconnect a few years later and dropped that steamy track, Work, and Drake was convinced that this time Rihanna would be his for real. Fast forward to the 2016 VMAs, and Drake went all in, declaring his love for her while presenting the Vanguard Award. But judging by Rihanna's reaction, it's clear that she wasn't feeling the same way.
But most of all, we love the woman who hasn't changed since day one. She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old.
Rihanna's fans were not happy with Drake after he turned his VMA speech into a love confession, totally stealing RiRi's spotlight. Soon after the VMAs, Rihanna threw some major shade on Instagram saying, "None of my exes are married or in happy relationships, so it's safe to say that I wasn't the problem." Then, 2 years later, Rihanna spilled the tea in a Vogue interview, admitting that waiting through Drake's speech was probably the most uncomfortable part. She said, "I don't like too many compliments, and I don't like to be put on blast." And when asked about their status now, Rihanna revealed that they're no longer in touch, not even as friends. She said, "We don't have a friendship now, but we're not enemies either. It is what it is." And this 2018 Vogue interview was the last time Rihanna publicly talked about Drake. But Drake being Drake, he just couldn't let it go. Even though Rihanna made it crystal clear multiple times that she was never planning to claim him or take their relationship to the next level, Drake kept acting like she was the one who got away. The same year Rihanna told Vogue that she cut all ties with Drake, Drizzy showed up on LeBron James and Maverick Carter's HBO series The Shop and said he always found fantasized about starting a family with her. By then, Drake had already been called out by Pusha T and had to publicly acknowledge his son Adonis. And while Drake told LeBron he was excited about being a dad, he also admitted that he didn't get the fairy tale life he always dreamed of. And for Drake, that fairy tale meant settling down and having a family with Rihanna.
I end up in this situation where I don't have the fairy tale like, oh, Drake started a family with Rihanna and like this is like so perfect, or like Drake, it's like it looks so good on paper.
I wanted that too.
Well, I mean,
and I didn't get it too.
By the way, I wanted that too.
But why would you talk this way about someone who didn't even want to admit she hooked up with you? Rihanna never once claimed Drake as her boyfriend. She was treating him like the groupie he was. And yet Drake actually thought she'd settle down and have kids with him? And if you thought that was weird, it gets even weirder when you see how Drake switched up once Rihanna started dating A$AP Rocky. Before RiRi and Rocky went public, Drake was gushing over how RiRi is the most incredible woman he ever met, reminiscing about what could have been and calling her his fantasy. But the moment Rihanna and Rocky went official and started a family, Drake suddenly turned into a borderline incel. He started dissing Rihanna and A$AP, claiming he was never hung up on her, and even trash-talking her bedroom skills, calling her average. On the track Fear of Heights from his latest album For All the Dogs, Drake raps, "Yeah, and the ex was average with you. Yeah, I'm anti cause I had it with you. Okay, I'm auntie like your daddy's sister. Auntie like a family picture. And I had way better bitches than you." And then Drake throws shade at Rocky rapping, "Why they make it sound like I'm still hung up on you? That could never be me. Girl, you can't ruin me. Better him than me." By the way, on Kendrick's diss Family Matters, Drake addresses Rocky saying, "I didn't even know you rap still, cause they only talking about your fit again. Probably gotta have a kid again before you think of dropping any ish again." Is Drake seriously implying it's bad to put your children and family before your rap career? Like, how did he think that was a diss to Rocky? But you know what? This actually does make sense coming from Drake. I mean, this is the same man who had to be diss-tracked into being a present father to his son. But believe it or not, Drake is still not showing any signs he's matured as a person. He just randomly decided to drop unseen footage from years ago showing him and Rihanna rehearsing for a performance of Take Care. And then Drake also shared this footage of recording his song with Rihanna, Too Good, and telling his mom, Sandra, that the song is actually about Serena Williams, to which Sandy responds, "I gathered that."
Up and coming relationships, everything's going to be very light. Not going to get like heavily into things.
No, I get heavy on a couple jokes, but this is more about me and Serena, so I
gathered that.
Sir, Serena never claimed you either. Like, this is so embarrassing for Drake. And why is he releasing these old files instead of responding to Kendrick? Either move on from the drama and get back to making regular songs, or get in the booth and respond directly. This just screams desperation on Drake's part. He's pushing 40, alone with a child he didn't want to acknowledge, and stuck on a woman who left in 2016. I mean, no wonder most of Drake's core fan base are teenagers. Sorry, but Drake is giving off major Arrested Development / man-child vibes. And at this point, it looks like he will need professional help to deal with his issues. But in the meantime, A$AP Rocky has a few words for Drake, and he just checked him on a new song, Hijack, but still being hung up on RiRi. The track is set up to be on Rocky's upcoming album, Don't Be Dumb, dropping on August 30th. And let me tell you, the lyrics are packed with jabs and references aimed at Drake, clowning him for his failed attempts to shade Rihanna. In the first verse, Rocky raps, "F ya hoe, cause she like that. Yeah, be fat, pretty. I might wife that. Dudes swear they pimpin'. Scotty simpin'. Get your wife back." And then later on in the track, Rocky seemingly references Drake's obsession with RiRi, rapping, "These ninjas want my wife bad. The people want my next track." By the way, this is just a sneak peek of what's to come. And Hot 97's DJ Cast 1 spilled the tea earlier this week that A$AP has a whole bunch of diss tracks lined up on his upcoming album. Cast said, "I heard A$AP Rocky definitely addressing a lot of the hot topics out there right now. Let's just say that this list is looking pretty extensive." And when Ebro asked if Rocky is still on Drake's list, Cast said, "Oh, he's definitely going to be cemented on the list after this." And then if those rumors are true about Rihanna and Kendrick working on a new collab, well, Drake is in for a surgical fall, that's for sure. As for fans, they're saying nothing is entertaining about Drake's obsession with Rihanna, and it's getting seriously scary. Now, some folks think that Drake is playing into the obsessed with Rihanna shtick for publicity. But even if it is true, it doesn't make it any less embarrassing. At his big age, and after all that success he's had, Drake still has to resort to using Rihanna's name for publicity? This is just sad. But let me know in the comments how you feel about Drake's obsession with Rihanna. Do you think he's playing it up on purpose? Drop your comments below, and I'll catch you in this next video.